All right, welcome everybody. So we're going to be talking about helping our stressed pets. Oh, this is a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. So my name is Allie Phillips, and the information that I am going to talk about in this presentation is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. But I am going to talk about my knowledge, my education, and share experiences based on my qualifications of what's going on in our world, how it's impacting our animals, and then I'm going to make some recommendations. And I always tell pet parents, you need to know why you're using an oil and for what you're using it before you actually use it. So that is my preface going into this. And so just a little bit about me. I have been an attorney for 27 years. I'm a former prosecutor. I have spent my entire career in the field of criminal prosecution. I was either in the courtroom or I have been teaching prosecutors and law enforcement and everybody who works with prosecutors. My specialty that I'm actually internationally known for this, is my work on animal abuse cases and how animal abuse links to family violence. So, fun stuff, right? I also run a nonprofit that I founded called Sheltering Animals and Families Together. And I help domestic violence shelters all over the world to create on-site pet housing. It's pretty neat, pretty fun little passion project for me. And Manifested Harmony is my healing business, and it is celebrating its 10th anniversary, which is shocking to me, but it just keeps going and going and going. And I am a master teacher energy healer in 3 different energy healing modalities. I'm an advanced crystal master. I'm a Young Living brand partner. I have, going back to my legal work and just, I guess, in life, I have spent my entire life surrounded by animals, and I have been volunteering either in animal shelters or with rescues or fostering for over 20 years. So that's a little bit about me. And before I dive into the topic, if you haven't grabbed my books, The Oily Crystal or The Oily Pet, there is a coupon code at the bottom of the screen that you can use for simply watching this presentation. It's just a little thank you if you are interested in either of those books. The Oily Pet is going to go into a lot greater detail tonight than what I am going to be able to go into, because this is a big topic and I want to be done promptly in an hour. Okay. All righty. So let's dive into the topic at hand. We have a changing world, and I'm going to get a little woo-woo and a little energetic here, but I have been watching and working with the energy of our planet for well over a decade. And I think we can all agree that our world changed in 2020. People are even saying that the energy is different. Well, we've actually been in what we like to call an energy shift. We've been in it for many decades, but it started picking up speed in 2011. It really started picking up speed in 2017, and then it dramatically changed in 2020. And now we are on a roller coaster. This is not a bad thing. Our Earth evolves just like we do. So what do I mean by energy shift? It's a variety of things, including a change in the Earth's frequency and astrological changes and changes in the collective consciousness of every living being on the planet. But what is new is this energy and our response to it. Because I think we can all agree that there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of anger. There is so much happening on this planet right now, like literally right now. What is today? August 17th, 2021. We are 18 months into a pandemic. Afghanistan fell. Haiti had an earthquake. Last number of dead that I saw was over 1,400. There are wildfires ravaging the western part of the United States and even in Europe. There are lockdowns happening in Australia and all over the world. There's riots, there's demonstrations, there's divisions, there's finger pointing of you do this, no, you do that. And it's overwhelming anger and fear and anxiety. And even if you isolate yourself in your home, like I have two home-based businesses. I literally never have to leave my home and I can still function. But we all feel it. Think about your animals that are inside. They feel it. So emotions are all over the board. And all of this is negative energy that impacts the pets that we love. Our pets are the ultimate copycats, and there are 4 ways that they take on energy that may not be good for them. And in one of my energy healing classes that I teach, it's called Integrated Energy Therapy. All of my energy healing classes have a pet component to them. And in one of them, I talk about how their soul mission, their purpose is to serve their people. And so they take on our energy to help us. You can talk them out of it all you want. It's not going to work. Trust me, I have tried talking my cats out of it. You cannot talk them out of it. So they take on energy in 4 different ways, whether it's good for them or not. The first one is they take on our energy. This is where they are the ultimate copycats, because, have you ever been told that you look like your pet? Maybe you look alike, maybe you act alike. I'm going to talk in the next slide about a cat that I won a look-alike contest with. So I'm going to tell you his story in a little bit. But one thing that, like I said, that I learned in my energy training is that pets will take on our energy, good, bad, or diseased, to spare us from hard times. Because if we don't keep it together, who's going to take care of them? They will take the brunt of it. So when someone needs help with their anxious pet, I usually find an anxious person. When someone needs help with a pet that constantly has digestive issues or is vomiting with no medical reason, I usually find a person with digestive issues, or they emotionally vomit all over everybody. Our pets, they take on our energy, and if we are verbalizing our anger, our fear, our worries because of this world that we live in, they take that on. Our pets mimic our energy for better, for worse. So it's in their best interest that we keep our energy as balanced as possible. Because if we are struggling, they will too. Their lives literally depend on us staying well and balanced. Pets also take on collective energy. So every time there is a protest, a riot, a terrorist attack, a mass shooting, an earthquake, a tsunami, a war, the animals feel it. They can feel what's happening on the other side of the world. They feel everything that is happening, because everything in our world is vibrational energy. And if that is new to you, if that sounds strange, I just invite you to Google the butterfly effect, because everything is energy, and things that are happening on the other side of the world will impact us. So if your pet has been having strange behavior and physical issues with no medical reason, they could be reacting to your energy or the collective energy that is around them that literally pervades our homes. Now, our pets are also influenced by the energy of Wi-Fi and electromagnetic frequencies, and this is happening at a cellular and a DNA level. And there are scientists who are studying 5G technology and whether it's scrambling our DNA and disconnecting all of us from the planet. You know, we know that sonar put out by large ships impacts marine mammals. And so they're looking at this. And here's what I've seen. A lot of birds are acting confused. They're flying into cars and windows more often. They're flying lower. Are you all seeing that too? Here in Michigan, I'm seeing that. I have never seen so many dead, big birds on the side of the road. I mean, I'm talking geese, turkeys, owls. I'm not talking about little birds. Their sonar, their radar is being scrambled and they're flying low. That, believe me, they do not mean to fly in front of your car. I'm finding that wildlife are acting scrambled without direction and they're getting lost. And so advancements like Wi-Fi could be having an impact on animals. And knowing that animals have a heightened, you know, they have heightened senses. I even wonder if Wi-Fi puts out a sound that could be making dogs anxious. We have no idea. You know, does anybody have ringing in their ears? I have ringing in my ears. Is that caused by Wi-Fi? I think we all need to disconnect, maybe go into the middle of Montana where there is literally no reception and see what happens, because we don't know. But we do know that pets are influenced by all of these electromagnetic frequencies and by Wi-Fi. And pets also feel the energy changes in the planet because they are so deeply connected to it. You know, if a dog is given a chance to walk on grass or cement, they're going to choose grass because of that connection to the earth. You know, animals feel when an earthquake is coming. They know to get to safe ground when a tsunami is coming. They feel the changes in the earth. And I'll get into this more in a little bit. But these are the 4 ways that our pets are the ultimate copycats, and they literally take on all of this energy, even if it's not good for them. So I want to introduce you to Sammy. This is a cat that I won the look-alike contest with. And this is when I still was a prosecutor, and it was really untimely when it landed on the front page of the Sunday newspaper back in the year 2000, because that next day I was picking a jury on a homicide case. And everybody in the audience claimed to know me because they saw this picture and they're like, oh, she's the lady who won the look-alike contest with her cat. That was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. But let me tell you about Sammy. When I used to live in the DC area for 12 years, and I had a very busy job traveling to prosecution conferences, you know, leaving very early in the morning, flying off to South Dakota, teaching, coming home, literally dragging myself in the door, sometimes at midnight. And Sammy, as soon as I would come home, he would promptly vomit. And so, not that I already wasn't stressed enough, I was, you know, taking him to the vet, trying to figure out what's going on. They said there was nothing medically wrong with him. They couldn't figure it out. My energy healing teacher, this went on for years. My energy healing teacher, when I first started, he said, Allie, Sammy is taking your energy and he is expelling it, processing it and expelling it the safest way that he knows how, literally by vomiting. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that totally makes sense. Because I would actually joke with my colleagues that if I had to hop another plane to the middle of nowhere, I would literally vomit. And I would use those words. That's what Sammy was doing. This is why the words that we use are very powerful with our animals. So I'm gonna teach you a technique later of what I did. And as soon as I started doing it, he never vomited again. But Sammy also felt the vibrations in the earth. And again, this took a while to figure out, but whenever there was a tsunami in Asia, I could clock it on a calendar, and 4 weeks later, Sammy would vomit like clockwork. It took me a while to figure it out, because when you think about a tsunami, it's an underwater earthquake. What happens when the earth shakes? Do you think once it's done shaking, it's done? It's like taking a pebble and throwing it in water. What happens? It creates a wave and a wave and a wave. It keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going. It never ends. And so those tsunamis in Asia, it just took a while to literally shake through the earth to get to where I lived in the Washington, D.C. area. And it caused motion sickness for Sammy. I mean, he acted like he was drunk. It was motion sickness. And once we figured out how to handle that, he was better. This is how sensitive some animals can be. Not all are, but some are. So I want to dive in, and this may seem a little woo-woo, but there is some very interesting science behind this. So pets feel the energy changes in the planet. And we know this because of how they react to tornadoes and, Tropical Storm Fred. I don't know if it's turned into a hurricane yet, but that's been going up the eastern coast of the United States right now. Animals know when danger is coming. Changes in the earth, the moon cycles, and other planets actually influence all of us, whether we recognize it or not. I mean, have you ever had trouble sleeping during a full moon? Like, are you energized? I am. Our pets are influenced. It's not just us. So when I look back at, we just went through what I call eclipse season, where we had a lunar and a solar eclipse in June. That's heightened energy. Can you think back to June, and was something going on with your pets? We have 5 planets in retrograde right now, and those planets appear to be going backwards in the sky, but really what it is the planets are slowing down. And when that happens, remember, everything is energy. It's going to impact us. And we're having unusual solar activity. Solar highs and lows with the sun happen about every 11 years, and it goes in cycles. We are technically in what's called a solar low, yet we are getting big solar flares. Solar flares are like, boom. It's like sticking your finger in an electrical socket. It can create anger and agitation. And why we're getting these big solar flares during a solar minimum, I don't even want to know what it's going to feel like when we hit solar maximum in 2025. And what's interesting is there is a study called heliobiology. And this field of study is all about the relationship between heightened solar activity and epidemics. They can track heightened solar activity to Ebola. I haven't seen what they've done with COVID, but they can track solar activity to plane crashes and electrical grids going out and grasshopper infestations and humans basically going mad and crazy because these blasts cause anger and just feeling icky. I mean, sometimes we just have days where it's like, oh, I just don't feel good and I don't know why. And that's what can happen. And then, not if all of that wasn't enough, there's the Schumann resonance. Schumann resonance is the heartbeat of the planet. It is the frequency of Earth. And traditionally, since it has been tracked since the early 1950s, it has hovered around 7.83 hertz. And I find that interesting because that is the frequency of a healthy human body. But remember how I said at the beginning that in this energy shift, the energy has been spiking since 2011. It really picked up speed in 2017. Well, in March of 2017, that 7.83 hertz spiked to 150. And every inhabitant on Earth felt it. May not have understood it, but felt it. And it has been consistently spiking since the pandemic began. And okay, I'm going to scroll here for a moment. I track the Schumann resonance, and I've always wondered, is the Earth causing us to change, or is our activity causing the Earth to change? And it's really both. Because when I started tracking certain events like global healing meditation events, the frequency of the planet spiked. So the spike is not necessarily a bad thing. The spike of the planet is the planet evolving. Like she's growing. Think of a teenager. What do they do over the summer? Especially boys. They grow a foot. They spike. And so the Earth is growing. You know, she's an evolved creature. She grows. She's spiking. So she's in a growth right now. I guess we can see her like a teenager. And so I see spikes when there are these mass global healing events where Reiki masters all across the world are coming together and sending healing. Boom, it goes through the roof. I see spikes when there are protests. I see spikes, and then I see the reaction in people, because the spikes cause the water in a human and animal body to vibrate, because we're 70% water. So think of if you have a glass of water on your desk and you bang your desk, the water is going to move. That's what happens in our body. And it can make it really difficult to handle those spikes. So just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I pulled this off a Schumann resonance site that I follow daily. And if you look at the blue is calm, is normal. The green is heightened activity. And on these grids, you start at the top of the grid, and if it's spiking, you move down the grid. So you start at the top. Now, if you look at August 3rd and 4th, you see that white, that is a spike. And when it's wide, it happened for a long period of time, like it happened over hours, maybe days. And the longer the white, the higher the spike. So the green is heightened Schumann resonance, and the white are the spikes. These spikes can create a lot of unusual feelings, behaviors, medical issues, unexplained phenomenon, if you don't know how to handle it. So what it may feel like for you with all of this, I mean, putting it all together, you just may feel like crap. You just may feel like icky. I mean, have you ever woken up one morning and there's no reason why you should feel icky? You just do. There's a lot going on around you. You may feel wired at night and tired in the morning. You may feel cranky or angry. You snap at people. You could be sad and you have no idea why. You may feel helpless and unmotivated and lethargic, immobilized, like you know you need to do stuff and you're just laying on the couch and you're binging Netflix. Or you can't sleep. Or you have some mysterious illnesses. I've studied, not to go off on a tangent, but I've studied the energy of COVID, and it's fascinating. It's real, but it's fascinating. Why now? Why now in our history? Our world has been so full of anger and fear that we were vulnerable to something. So with all of this, we are being given an opportunity to upgrade, basically. If you know about it and choose to do that. Now, what does it feel like for your pets? They may feel agitation, you know, they're restless. They're upset over things that were okay in the past, like my cat Rudy. I know when we're having like a Schumann resonance spike, because all of a sudden, the neighbor cat will walk over, and he loves other cats, but all of a sudden he will literally throw himself against the glass door. I mean, he looks like he went splat on it, and he's getting upset. That's not normal. That's an energy reaction. There might be infighting. I have heard more stories than I care for of dogs who have turned on each other, dogs who have lived together their entire lives. They're dogs who are siblings, and they fight to the death. Heightened anxiety. I mean, this is temporary insanity where they are clingy, they're whiny, they're more vocal. They're hiding and you have no idea why, or they escape because the energy is so much. They could be trying to escape from the Wi-Fi. Because again, I keep going back, does Wi-Fi have a sound? And if they're running out of the house, they may be saying, oh my gosh, just get me away from the sound. I literally am going crazy. Or it may cause lethargy, lost interest, depression. They may vomit, like my Sammy did. They may have sudden stiffness. I'm knowing some pets who are very young, all of a sudden are very stiff. Or mystery illnesses. This is happening with frequency. So let's start getting into some solutions, because that's kind of depressing, isn't it? I mean, this is a lot of stuff that surrounds us, and it has our whole lives. We're surrounded by this stuff. I find it fascinating. I love learning this stuff. I love teaching this stuff. Because once you know, you can be proactive and you can handle it. So I'm going to give you some ideas, and then I'm going to go into some oils, and then I can take some questions. So one thing that is important is to work on transmuting the energy around your house. So our houses are grounded, right? They have the grounding, rod. We need to energetically ground our houses. Iron-based crystals are the best thing to do. And I know you're probably thinking, wait a minute, I don't know anything about crystals. It's really easy to do. Go to your local metaphysical store, get 4 pieces of black tourmaline crystal, put it in the 4 corners on the main floor of your house. That's it. Just do that. That's all you have to do. It's that easy. I teach this stuff in my crystal classes on how to literally protect your home from electromagnetic frequencies. You can even take one of those crystals and stick it right on your Wi-Fi router. And that helps to transmute the energy coming off of it. In between me and my computer right now, black tourmaline. And in the next slide, I'll show you a better picture of the black tourmaline. But this is an easy thing to do to transmute the energy around your house. Now, the second thing is to clear the energy in your home. Open your windows. I mean, even here in Michigan, when we are in the throes of winter and it is below 0 degrees, I throw open the windows. Open the windows. Let energy out. If you like to use a smudge stick, which is burning sage, do that. I put crystals everywhere. I like amethyst and black tourmaline and rose quartz and clear quartz. So those are really, really good crystals to have around. Diffuse essential oils. This is really important, not fragrance oils, true essential oils like Young Living. And that's the thing. If with pets, I can only recommend Young Living. Please don't use another brand because I cannot guarantee that it's going to be safe. But diffusing will clear the energy in your home because the oils have a vibrational frequency and are clearing. Now you can also connect with the earth, because we have to have good energy so that we don't pass it on to our pets. So when you connect with the earth every day, especially if you feel anxious or jittery or unsettled or depressed, go put your bare feet on the ground. It's called earthing, and you're creating an ion exchange with the earth. It's also very anti-inflammatory, it's calming, but connect with the earth every day. I mean, I go out and hug my trees because there is a healing to doing that. You know, meditate or quiet your mind. And believe me, for somebody who has multiple businesses, and I have a lawyer brain and a healer brain, it can be a little challenging to quiet my mind, but I know I need to do it. I know I have to do it to keep me healthy and to keep my cats healthy. Brush off your energy. This is the technique I did with Sammy. I would stand on my front porch before I came into my house, and I would take my hands and I just pretended, you know, like I had a glove, and I was, you know, brushing. I would just start at my shoulders and I would brush the energy down like a couple inches off of me and brush even over my head and down my back. Brush, brush, brush. I brushed the energy off of me, and it worked. This was a cat who had been vomiting for years. I started brushing my energy, literally brushing the junk, other people's junk that was on me. I didn't bring it into my home anymore. That is one of the best, simplest things that you can do for your sanity and health and your pet's sanity and health. And another thing is be very conscious of your language. You know, like I would say, you know, things out loud, like, because I was constantly living out of a suitcase for almost 12 years. And, you know, I would say things like, oh, I'm going to vomit if I have to fill that suitcase again. So Sammy, oh, okay. I guess I'll vomit for you. Yet just realize that they feel the energy of your words. So speak life into them. They really will feel it. And then I'm going to show you a picture of some crystals that if you want to do that, these are the ones that I recommend. And then I'm going to talk about essential oils. So see this black crystal? That's black tourmaline. And it is aluminum based and fantastic for really transmuting the negative electromagnetic frequencies in Wi-Fi. So that's what I have between me and my computer, and I don't get fatigued when I work at my computer. I did a test of whether that truly worked. When I worked in an office full of attorneys, I put a nugget of black tourmaline in front of everybody's computer, and everybody had more energy at the end of the day. And that was an office of attorneys, of non-believers who then believed. So I highly recommend that. Clear quartz is a great crystal just for putting positive energy in the air. Amethyst is a very calming crystal. That's the purple one. And rose quartz is just a very soothing, happy, heart-based energy. And I don't have time to go into detail, but there's a lot of science behind crystals. I teach the science. If you're interested, my crystal classes start up again next month, and you can take them and you'll actually learn how these actually work. Just simply having a crystal out on your coffee table can actually have your pets get along. It's amazing. So I see a question here. Karen, can we buy crystals from you? I have some, yes. I tend to carry more rare and unique crystals, but yes, if you want to send me a list of what you need, I will let you know if I have it or if I can get it for you. Absolutely, I will help you. All right, let's talk oils, my friends. Okay, here's the thing. I need to preach for a little bit. We have to use natural, unadulterated essential oils. Most essential oils on the market are adulterated, which is why they cannot be used with our pets or around our pets. When an essential oil is pure, like literally the oil was squeezed out and put in a bottle and that was it, it has the purest parts to it. It has all the parts and pieces, and it has the best frequency to it. And the animal kingdom communicates with the plant kingdom. So this is why I only recommend Young Living. And, you know, in my book, The Oily Pet, I go through how to identify pet safe essential oils. And it is never about, is lemon safe? Is eucalyptus safe? It's whether the brand and the process they use is safe. That's the short story. And when it comes to cats, I have 3 cats. I have been using Young Living essential oils with my cats for 8.5 years. And it is shocking how their lab work looks when they go for their annual visit. It really confuses their veterinarian because it flies in the face of what veterinarians know. And I explain more about it in the Oily Pet of why, you know, why you can safely use oils with cats. But if you do want to topically apply, just make sure that you are diluting in a carrier oil, just because cats excrete essential oils slower than dogs and slower than we do, because they have to be different, right? Cats just have to be their own thing. So we just use a carrier oil if you're topically applying. And for topical application, always down the spine. Always, no matter what is happening on the body, always down the spine, because once it's in the body, it goes to where it's needed. And then for behavior, they need to smell it, because it goes into the olfactory bulb and right into the brain where behavior and emotions sit, okay? That is the shortest explanation of oils for pets I've ever given in my life. It usually takes me an hour to explain it, but I want to get to these oils, okay? So interestingly enough, did you know that essential oils can help protect you from electromagnetic frequencies? What? That sounds crazy, Allie. Oh, it's not. It's not. When our body and our animals' bodies have good antioxidant levels in them, antioxidants are protective from electromagnetic frequencies. Antioxidants protect our cells. Essential oils are full of antioxidants. Isn't that awesome? I love that. I love that. So this is yet another reason why oils are great for everything that I just talked about. So, okay, so you want to calm the energy around. Maybe you have animals that are agitated, they're fighting, they have heightened anxiety. You know, the FedEx guy pulls into the neighborhood and your dog is losing it, like doesn't even have a visual yet and is losing it. Or somebody rings the doorbell and oh my gosh, the barking is never ending. Here are the oils that I recommend, and I'm going to tell you why. Idaho Grand Fir deeply grounds the body, okay? Because when an animal is in heightened anxiety, fighting, or agitated, they are not grounded in their body. You need to get their little paws connected to Mother Earth, and she will take care of them. Idaho Grand Fir is deeply grounding, and it's for us too. So everything I talk about, I want you to think about for you too. It helps those of us who get out of balance to where we are not ourselves, or we'll look at our pet and say, wow, they're not acting like themselves. What this does is it stabilizes unstable energy by anchoring to the earth. Because that's the thing with all of these changes with the earth and what's going around and all the chaos on the planet, you need to put a big old hook around the anchor of the earth, ride her roller coaster. You'll be belted in. rather than hanging on for dear life. Idaho Grand Fir does that. Lavender, this actually balances every chakra, every energy center in the body, and it aligns the body for equilibrium and homeostasis. Vetiver, I call this the pass out oil, the stop the damn fireworks oil, the full moon is making me edgy oil, the calm your butt down oil. Seriously, it's the pass out oil. And if you really need to ramp it up, you pair it with valerian. It may not smell good. Doesn't matter. It's never about the smell. It's about the result. Now for blends, the grounding blend, this is like putting your pet's feet on the ground to reconnect them to the earth's vibration. It's like taking them for a deep walk in the woods. The harmony blend, this balances body, mind, and spirit. It resets instincts, especially for fighting. You know, if siblings are fighting with each other, you know, they grew up together. That's not good. You need to reset that instinct. And so this resets harmonious relationships. Peace and calming chills out the energy in a space. It calms the energy around. So this is for the doorbells and the visitors who get that dog who is basically slamming himself up against the glass door. It is for highly sensitive pets and people, and really good for people and pets who are highly reactive or shut down emotionally. And then valor, this is the oil of courage. And it helps our pets face all the energy, all of this change, all of the emotions of human beings, and face it with courage so that they can live a happy, healthy life. Now, let's say you want to raise the energy. You know, there's some negativity in the home. You know, you've been angry. You've, you know, been screaming at the television. And now your pet's starting to react to it. Or people come over and over a bottle of Chardonnay, everybody's venting. And your cat is sitting in the middle listening to it. You need to raise the energy. You need to get out of that energy, because we can't solve a problem from the same energy that created it. And I think that's why people are mad right now and afraid, because they don't know what to do. And so they just act out. I mean, we are literally like the animals that are acting out. All the animals on this planet, 2- and 4-legged, are acting out. So let's raise the energy. Let's get into a different, pretend like you're raising yourself up in an airplane, and you're going to get a 30,000-foot view of, okay, this is what's going on. Now I know what to do. Higher unity. I love this oil. When there is a lot of people drama and pet drama happening, this is a good one. This is a great oil in home that have power struggles, whether it's a power struggle between people trying to one-up each other or pets trying to one-up each other. Higher unity is your one-upping, let's just all win oil. The One Heart blend is very high vibration. It strengthens the human-animal bond during difficult times. And what it does is it moves us into a frequency where we can have love and compassion for everyone, which our pet is then going to feed off of. And it puts them in alignment with why they're here, which is love and compassion. So it helps them to align with why they're here, even though they're here taking on a lot of energy. The Rise Above oil. This is a new one this year. And this transforms negative behavior into positive behavior. Sacred angel helps to release worry, stress, negativity, and helps to feel protected during crisis or during problems. White Angelica does the same thing. It's protection from what I call the energy vampires, protection from all this energy that's bombarding us, to where you just want to wrap yourself in a blanket, sit on the couch with your pet, and watch a Hallmark movie. That's White Angelica. So these oils are very protective and raise our animals out of that energy, raise us out of that energy too. All right, there's a lot of digestive issues that are happening with animals because there's just so much negative energy. I mean, we are literally making ourselves sick to our stomachs, and our pets are getting sick too. So the normal oils, Digize, Vitality, the Paragize oil in the Animal Sense line, even giving the Ningxia Red antioxidant drink to your pets. This is what my cats drink every day. Every day. Baffles my veterinarian. Baffles. But my cats' lab work is phenomenal when they drink this. So it's going to help with digestive support if that's an issue. Now, what if the issue is you have a pet that's lethargic? They've just lost interest. They're just not themselves. Like something's off with them. They almost seem to be acting older than what they really are. Well, there's a lot of grief in the world, and animals feel collective grief. I mean, there's worldwide, the things that are done to animals is horrific. I mean, it's horrific. And I know this all too well from my work in animal protection and animal abuse prosecutions. Animals feel it. So what's happening right now to the animals in Haiti and the wildfires in the United States and Europe and the animals in Afghanistan is being felt by them all. Those cries are energetic and they feel it. So frankincense works on the grief meridian in the lung to help process that. You know, rose is a very deep heart healing, deep trauma, deep grief oil. It's pricey, but it's worth every penny. The inner child oil brings back the inner child. It uncovers, it's like the onion. It's shedding all the layers as fast as you can to get to that core, because our pets can get covered in so much energetic junk. And the inner child helps to uncover that and basically reset them. It's like rebooting your computer. And then Trauma Life or the Tea Away oil. So Tea Away has all the oils of Trauma Life. These are two different blends. Tea Away is in the Animal Sense line. And I like that oil because, you know, we feel all of the chaotic, angry, fearful energy, all of the protests, all of the riots, all of the violence, all of the death. I mean, I cannot watch news anymore, but yet I know it's still happening. And when we watch the news, we traumatize ourselves, and then our pets take that on. And when we're traumatized, it creates energy blocks in the body, and it can create big problems. It can create anger. So this oil is amazing to really help boost mood and to move out of trauma, to really get out of that energy. Now, when you have no idea what's going on and you're like, my pet is doing XYZ, I have no clue what's going on, I've tried everything, nothing's working. These are the two things that I do, because at this point, you got nothing to lose and you will never do harm with either of these. The first is a frankincense copaiba blend, topically applied down the spine. So I have to be compliant here, but energetically, this is the Life Force Energy Blend. Copaiba is an enhancement oil. It virtually has no scent. So it's enhancing the life force energy of the frankincense. It's almost like applying the life paddles to your pet and shocking them. So Lynn, great question. Dilution rate. My rule of thumb for dogs 25 pounds and over, you can, once you mix it, you can do 1 drop straight down the spine. It doesn't have to touch the skin. It can touch the fur. It'll go right in, okay? For dogs under 25 pounds, I would dilute with an organic carrier oil. It has to be organic. Carrier oils are adulterated just like essential oils. So an organic carrier oil like jojoba oil, coconut oil, almond oil, olive oil, 5 drops to 1 drop of the essential oil. That's for dogs under 25 pounds. For cats, I do about 8 drops of a carrier oil to 1 drop of an essential oil. So I tend to create this blend in an empty oil bottle, and I basically just fill it up 90% with a carrier oil, and the rest I just put the essential oils in, and I already have it pre-diluted, pre-blended. I always have this on hand. It helps with so many things. When you don't know what's going on, just try this. And you can also try the raindrop technique. So if you don't know what that is a whole separate class. You can find this in the Animal Essential Oil Desk Reference. I do the kitty raindrop on my cats all the time. These are very, I don't want to use the word harsh, but dang, these are harsh oils. They smell. And most people would not want to use them even with cats. I use them with my cats. Heavily diluted, 90% dilution rate with a carrier oil. But if you know how to do the raindrop technique, do that. On dogs, you can do 1 oil at a time. On cats, I pre-mix it in a bottle and I just put a couple drops down the spine and rub it in. So those are the 2 techniques that I do for energetic support when I do not know what is going on. And the veterinarians do not know what is going on. And they tend to work great. I really see some amazing results. All right, so the last thing that I want to talk about is to just create a sacred space for your pets. You know, have a place, if you can, in your home that is for them. That's not for noisy kids or noisy adults, or, you know, even for a noisy pet, you know, keep that pet out. Have a space where they can go and decompress. And for Rudy, he decompresses with crystals. He will lay on crystals like they are a bed of rocks. It's what he does. And they all tend to do it. They all tend to gravitate to the crystals, or they will put themselves in a room with the essential oil diffuser. So, all righty. That is the end of the presentation. And so before I take questions, I'm just going to go ahead and conclude the recording. And thank everybody for being here and for everybody watching the recording. I really appreciate it, and let me know if you have questions.